Hi there, folks. A very good morning. It is Saturday, the 4th of February. It is Guineas Day in Johannesburg. The sun is out. There's blue sky. That's at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen later, but there's been a lot of rain in Johannesburg in the last few days. At Turffontein, Lyall Cooper, who joins me this morning, 43.3 millimeters in the last week, just 5 of those in the last day. So it's good to soft conditions at Turffontein. Penetrometer of 24. Good morning on Guineas Day.
Yeah, good morning to you, Nico. I think lucky that they had that 5 mils. I think we had a lot more down here in the north, so to speak. So good news. And racing goes on and looking forward to Guineas Day.
Penetrometer is 24. Official track condition good to soft, as we mentioned. False rail 0 out on the back straight, going up to 5 meters around the turn. And it's a 5-meter spurt, the 700-meter marker. Well, it's billed as the championships. There's 5 days of action in the autumn, 5 big days that for racing have channeled all their resources into, this being the first of those 5 and culminating with Champions Day in April/May. But I wanted to ask you what you first of all thought of the card, and then what you think of that pick 6, where there's a carryover today of R500,000. What do you think? You're on mute for some reason. I don't know why you're on mute.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, there we go.
Back.
Yeah, you're back.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Someone was phoning me, and what it does is it goes over my entire screen. It's so irritating.
Okay. So what I was asking you was, firstly, what do you think of the card? And then what do you think of the pick 6 with the carryover? Do you think it's catchable today?
I do think it's catchable, but I also think it's a very difficult card, actually. I struggled to find bankers. I've got some bankers that I thought could be bankers, but they could quite easily come second. So I thought it was quite a hard card, to be honest.
Okay, well, let's run through it. We'll go through what we've got here, including all the latest changes. Race 1 opens up at midday. It's an early start, a maiden plate, fillies and mares over 1,160 meters. And in the first of the day, number 5, Flight de Grace, is a half set of Alamites. So you could take half the Alamites off that one. Number 9, Storm Dominator. They're fitted with a tongue tie. Whilst I find the betting, what is your fancy in race 1 today?
Well, straight off the bat, I thought this was quite a difficult race here, Nico. When I went on a bit of a line through a horse called Mighty Goddess, who you know very well, I thought that 6 Ghost Ships, 7 Happy Vibes, and 11 Winter Muse, there wasn't much between them. So I'm actually leaning towards number 7, Happy Vibes, from the Paul Matchett stable. I like the draw, and I don't mind that last run where she did just beat Ghost Ship. Then I'm going to go for Ghost Ship second. And then, of course, number 11, Winter Muse, has to go in, back from that lengthy rest of 128 days. And then Field of Grace for that 4th position. And I quite like the draw as well, the 7's draw of 9. So I'm going to make the 7 my first selection here. I like the price at 5 to 1. The horse to beat is number 11, but I thought value in 7 and 6.
Okay, so it is 6, 7, and 11 for Lyall. I thought Winter Muse, the horse to beat. The only issue with her is that she's got a tongue tie on 1, which means there's issues there with a tongue tie fitted. And then she's been rested for 4 months. But I thought she brought very strong form into the game. Now I do these number crunches when I sort of have a go at what I think the merit rating should be. And I think the merit rating Winter Muse should be 80+. Now, if I believe it's 80+, Happy Vibes is a 70+, and Ghost Ship is about a 67 or thereabouts. The other one that I wanted to add into the mix there was number 9, Storm Dominator, who's quoted at 8 to 1, because she tries a tongue tie for the first time, and she's rated in the same region as Happy Vibes. So she's rated 69+. So I think certainly on the ratings, what I've worked out is that Winter Muse may have a few lengths to spare on the others. But as I said, she's been rested since that good debut behind a Sia Pambile.
That's the question mark.
It looks competitive. As you say, it does look competitive. And I think it's going to turn out that way too, the first of the day, which does not form part of the exotics. Race 2, however, forms part of the bipod, which we've had a go at today. I've had a go at the bipod today in the Take a Bet. It is a maiden plate over 1,160 meters. And interestingly here, Lyall, you'll be presenting today, so you'll know this later. But the ROA have put up a 40,000 Rand bonus check for those first couple of races, the maidens, which is a huge influx of money into the stakes.
Yeah, it's wonderful, Nico. Absolutely wonderful. And actually did say that they were going to do this to promote it, so good for them.
The interesting thing here, though, is the addition of 2 scratchings, which have come through this morning. You can scratch number 1, Black Egret, who was scratched just after 8 o'clock this morning, and also number 8, Elusive Justice, who I think both were relatively well fancied. And that now leans us towards number 7, Edward Rye, I think, Lyall, who has shortened into even money now. Good debut run.
Yeah, Nico was my first choice without the scratchings. Edward Rye, Johan Janssen Thuren, and Randall Simons. I don't like the draw, but it's a small field. It was a cracking debut. The time there was 67.45. Nothing wrong with that. And the computer form, I think, have summed it up. They said, good debut, next. I think that could be right. The horse that I actually made a danger, even without the scratchings, was number 7, Full Go. Now,
Number
if you
3.
go on a line there, through the Sia and the Conqueror form line, number 3, Full Go, is actually weighted to be on top of Black Egret. So I know that he's having his 25th run, but we did tip Billy's other horse the other day, and it came 3 and 1. I thought this was the biggest danger. Number 3, Full Go. What's the price? 10 to 1, Nico.
Well, it's 10 to 1. So 10 to 1 a place money, and now you reduce the field down to 8 runners, so you still get 3 places. So Full Go at 10 to 1, maybe for the places there. There's interesting money here. We've got to mention the money for number 6, Back in Business from the Soma stable. Now, they backed this from an opening call of 6 to 1. They'll obviously have to endure the deduction should they win their bets, but it's now at 18 to 10. So it is a firm second favorite. Well-bred horse, the mother enchanting Kathy, as a half-sister to National Currency, who needs no introduction to South African players because he was the champion sprinter. So there's lots of money for Back in Business here.
It was my third. It was my fifth choice. Now that they're all scratched, it's my third choice. So 7, 3, and 6.
Okay, so 7, 3, and 6.
It's an amazing price for a place. That number 3, Full Go.
Yeah. And again, we often say this. Should you back horses for wins and assess horses for places in the same race? Less risky backing horses for places. So maybe Full Go at 10 to 1 for the first 3. Blinkers go on number 5, African Twilight. Here is another change that's come through. Let's move to the third race, which is the start of today's place accumulator. And it is a Pinnacle Stakes over 2,400 meters. The field of only 6 now with the scratching of number 7, You Can't Hurry Love, who's out of the third race. There is a form update with Imperial Master, and you've got it in your card there. Ran second to Tababua at Turffontein last week over the 2,000-meter trip. Now, the money's for Zeus, and opened up at 3 to 1, is into 2 to 1. A good comeback win last time out. And I think there was an objection that day, which eventually was overruled. But Zeus beat Marching On Together as they came together to battle it out. So Zeus is 2 to 1. You've got Arumagam, the up-and-coming stayer from the Waho Mowing Yard, at 28 to 10. Shangani, who's coming back from a 6-month break, the winner of the Gold Cup, at 7 to 2. Marching On Together is 4 to 1. Imperial Master, Lyall, has been back from 8.5 to 1 into 5 to 1. And the outsider, which I'm extremely surprised to see, that Imperial Ruby is as big as 25 to 1, because Kamala steps aboard today for the first time. What do you make of the 6-horse party?
Yeah, it's a good field. I thought there were a few with chances. And the first thing I want to say is I looked at this race, the pace. There's not much pace, Nico. So 2 and 4 might just end up being the pacemakers here. There's no real pacemaker here, so we might get a bit of a false run race. And in that case, I think it's a very difficult race. So for that reason, I'm actually leaning towards the 5, Waho Mowing's Son of Duke of Marmalade. I actually studied this race in great depth, and there's so many form lines here that I do think that any horse could beat any horse here. So I thought with 52 kilograms, drawn to the Pero in form, number 5 is my first selection from number 1, Shangani. I know he's coming back from a long rest, but he's just so talented. So he'll go in my second spot there. Then the 4, Marching On Together. And then, of course, number 3, Zeus. But as you said, if 6 Imperial Master or Imperial Ruby won this off a false pace, wouldn't be a shock. but I've had to take a stance 5-1-4-3.
Well, the Waiho Mowing Stable has started off the new year in hot form. I'm just looking here. They've had 6 winners since the beginning of the year, which is excellent. And they could keep it rolling with Arumagam. The full brother, I think it was, is also called Son of Raj, who also came up and won first up for the Mowing Stable in the last 6 weeks or so. Zeus, I think, is back to his best, but you bring up a very good point, and that was why I made Imperial Ruby, despite the fact that it is the rank outside of 25-1. He's a very strong front runner. Kamala is a very strong rider. If he gets it right in terms of dictating the pace, I've no doubt he'll go off to the front. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous race. Dangerous.
Well, last time Imperial Ruby took on Shangani, only went down half a length.
That was in the Gold Cup. Yeah.
So, you're right. With a false run race, maybe Simanga could steal this race.
Anyway,
it's possible.
I just think it's very, very, despite the fact that there are only 6 horses, any result is possible for me there. As we move on to the start of the picks today, as I mentioned at the start, 500,000 Rand carried over and a likely pool of 3 million Rand today in the pick 6. That's where you want to be for the big money. And it's always difficult to tip pick 6s, which is why we steer clear of that. We allow others to delve where we don't. And race 4 is off at 20-2. The scratching is number 11, Second Breath, who ran on Thursday at the Vaal and ran a good 4th behind the stable companion Meteoric, but that has not recovered sufficiently to race today. Now, it's open, but we're looking at Munchkin as the favourite. There's lots of talk about Munchkin ever since he came to the track when he didn't run the very first time. He's at 28-10, Munchkin. There's a bit of money for the Mauritian number 3 into 11-2. Then you've got Good Queen Bess at 7-1. And we've got Kian the Conqueror, who took the scalp of Munchkin on debut at 100-1, I think he was. He's at 8-1. This is the start of the pick 6. You need to be pretty well covered here, although some may feel that Munchkin may have their measure. But what do you feel?
I think it's a tough race. I know Munchkin has a huge reputation, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he came through and won. So for the smaller punter or someone who's in the camp there, take the banker Munchkin. But for me, I thought this was a very open race. And you laughed at me with my first selection, one race on Thursday. Maybe you'll laugh at this one, Nico.
What did I
first selection for the race.
What happened with it? Did it won, didn't it?
Yeah.
But that was the one that's the one that Neil and you liked together. And I
correct.
I did have respect. Obviously, I respect your opinion, Lyall. You know that. And I also respect Neil. And you both went for that same horse, and it won. It was Lucky with the Larkins' horse. It was
correct.
I think it was. It won very nicely.
That's right.
Yeah.
It did. So I think the same thing again. I don't mind if you laugh, because this is a much more competitive race. Yeah, number 14, Angel of War. Number 14.
Yes. Not the worst in the world, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Matchett, Rachel Vinegar, 55.5 kilograms. And you know times, I'm a believer in times. If you go to the penultimate, ran behind Arbitrator in a time of 67.21. Now, if you go to your more favoured runners, they're both a second slower than that. So I just think that number 14 has a realistic chance of winning here. What's the price, Nick? I can't see on the screen.
It's 16-1, Angel of War. Okay, it's Rail, 16-1. And it is drawn in the middle at 9, so it's got a good draw
which
too.
Is okay.
Yeah.
Then obviously second, Munchkin. I mean, I know Lucky rates this horse so highly, so it still could be anything. Number 7, Sian the Conqueror, who did beat Munchkin, obvious inclusion here, and a nice draw. And then 2 others that I think could win the race. Kalahari Blue was in that same race behind Arbitrator, by the way, and is held by number 14 just on that run. But still, this is a good horse. And then number 3, the Mauritian. Fighting talk from Mr. Young James Crawford, saying hard to beat. His comment.
Oh, is it? Did he say that? Well, you know what? I liked it last time out. I did like it. It wasn't drawn well when it ran in the Secretariat behind Jimmy Don, but Jimmy Don contests the Guineas. And if you look at Jimmy Don later on in the race card, you'll see that he raced off 105 and then races off an 86. Look, he was receiving quite a lot of weight from Jimmy Don, so I thought he had a chance last time out. But that's fighting talk. You'd obviously have to respect that. The stable have been not so great in Joburg.
A little bit quiet. A little bit quiet.
We haven't seen James in that winners enclosure for a while, so we're hoping they bounce back. Yeah. So you're going quite wide there. Your first choice, though, at the value is number 14, Angel of War, and I couldn't disagree with you because number 9, Kalahari Blue's got to have a chance, and that is right on top of it on the run behind the Traitor. I think you've mentioned the principal runners. I don't think I can add too much else there. I think those are the ones that really matter. I thought a younger horse would win it, and one of the 3-year-olds. That could be the Mauritian. It could be either Kian the Conqueror or Munchkin, who bring the same form in, and it could be Kalahari Blue. And so I think that is open, and I think you have to play it pretty wide in your pick sixes, the first leg. Let's move to the race, which is the start of the feature races today. It's the Grade 3 World Sports Betting Tommy Hotspur Stakes over 1,000 meters. Do you notice what color I chose to wear today in the sponsors? So I'm sure you'll get your shirt when you get to the course later.
That's lovely.
Some shirts for us there. Anyway, race 5. You can scratch number 4, Bon Vivant, is a scratching. So that's come out earlier on today. And they put blinkers on the 1, Smorgasbord. So Smorgasbord, note, as blinkers on. Right. Big Burn, all the rage, 5-2 into 14-10. They haven't stopped on this one, but there's also money for the bottom weight, number 12, Faraway Winter, where Muzieni gets a chance for the first time. This is in from 16-1 to 7-1. So those are the 2 money horses in the race. What's your feeling?
Well, Adam, as he did say, by the way, number 12, competitive field, but does have a light weight. Now, Nico, Big Burn has been exceptionally good to me. I'm not going away from her. She's so talented. The word from Sean Terry, competitive, big chance. She's got Richard Free. I know she's up in the weights here, but she's got Richard Free as opposed to Sianda Sosibo. She's drawn 11. And my comments here were very fast, classy filly. So I'm sticking with Big Burn. And for me, she's a potential banker. If she doesn't win, good luck to everyone. I thought number 9, Constable, is very good value at 14-1. I cannot believe the price of 14-1. This is a decent individual and is 4 kilograms better off with Big Burn for those last 2 runs. So I'd expect Constable to be on top of Big Burn. And it's 14-1. So that is the value bet on the card for me. Number 4, Bon Vivant, also been very good to me. This is No Fool, this daughter William Longsword.
That's scratched now.
Is it out?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Okay. So then number 12 obviously comes in Faraway Winter with 50. And one more I do want to mention is Karangatang, but is held by Constable. So I keep on coming back to Big Burn and Constable, the 2 Sean Terry runners.
Just going to add 1 extra horse there for you.
Please do.
Vasim.
Okay. Let's have a look at what I wrote. Also 4 kilograms.
When you go back to Vasim and Big Burn, they've met a number of times. There is nothing between them. I cannot believe that Vasim is 20-1. I'm not saying it's a good point, but how can Big Burn be 14-10 and Vasim at 20-1? Now, if you look at their runs together, and I'll just quickly take you through it, Vasim and Big Burn ran on the 26th of November. Granted, it was over further, 11:60, which would have probably suited Vasim a little bit more. There's not much, but there's a quarter of a length between them when you take into account the weight. And when you look again on the 10th of December, which was the Vaal 1000, there's a big one between them on that run that they've met. I can't believe the price. I really can't.
Yeah, good point. I think well, then your Vasim and my Constable at the weights, can't believe their prices, both of them.
They're very good prices. And I think that people are often, and I say this with all due respect to people that follow the betting, misguided in believing that these things are the prices they are, because when you convert, prices are just it's another way of expressing a percentage.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example of what the price of Big Burn means. And this is just a quick lesson that I just want to quickly take you through. So when you work out, there's a way of working out the actual price of Big Burn at 14-10 in terms of percentage. It means that Big Burn has a 58.3% chance of winning. That's what it means. It means it's between sort of 55 and 60% chance of winning, which I think is okay, fair. But to say that Vasim, when you take Vasim's percentage, I'll give you that, is Less than 1%.
Yeah.
It's 0.95%. Less than 1%. I don't think that's not
There's your value.
It's not a true indication of what may happen there.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
So anyway, so we'll take it on to the sixth race, which is the big Fillies Guineas feature. It's the start of the Triple Tiara, sponsored by Fulco Drift, and it runs at 5-3. It's the Fulco Drift karting Fillies Guineas, 1,600 meters. In this race, there are no changes, so it comes up all clear, certainly at 8:30 on a Saturday morning, all clear as carded. Now, Give Me a Shot obviously has a lot of emotional context because of the late Kevin Soul. She's won 3 of her 6 starts to date, and the further she goes, it looks like the better she is. I mean, she beat Under Your Spell. She got a lot of weight that day, but she did give her a beating, and she is the favorite at 15-10. And the only other one that has attracted any form of support to beat her is Feather Boa, although I see a bit of smattering for Ororari Gold and Lady of Power. But Feather Boa is the principal danger. Now, we remember, I think you and I were working on the day when Feather Boa got taken out by Gilded Butterfly at almost just after the start, and we went on and on about it. And I asked Stuart Pettigrew during the course of the week when he won with Gilded Butterfly what actually happened there. And he said Feather Boa actually ran into the haunches of Gilded Butterfly, and Gilded Butterfly switched out and basically took Feather Boa out. The fact that Feather Boa came back to run third and saved a lot of place accumulators that day was an admirable achievement. The question is, there was 4 lengths between them that day at level weights. They carry level weights again today. There's not going to be 4 lengths between them today. Or is
no. Okay, well, firstly, I spent a lot of time on this race, Nico. The good news in this race, inverted commas, is there's a lot of speed here. We've got horses like 1, Give Me a Shot, the 4 horse, Rock the Fox, 7, Emregina, 8, Burnett, the 10, which is Lady of Power, and number 15, Trident 2, all have speed. So that's good news. With that in mind, I think Give Me a Shot is unbelievable. Watching her win those last 2 races, I tell you, when she beat Under Your Spell like that, I was presenting, I nearly fell over. I thought, oh my goodness, how good is this horse? So on her form lines, they are amazing form lines. We don't have time to go through them now, but they're amazing. Just to give an example, her debut win, 10 winners just from one form line. So she's just never put her foot wrong. She is my strong first selection. And like you, I have a lot of respect for number 2, Feather Boa, also drawn wide. But because of the speed in the race, it might actually suit her. Watch out for a big run from her. And then one of the horses, I mean, there's a lot of other horses that are talented here. But one of the horses that I do want to mention is number 7, Emregina. Her last few are really impressive, Nico. She's also drawn wide. But, wow, the form that she's in, I wouldn't be leaving her out either.
Okay, so this is, again, when you come to 3-year-old races, a lot of them are really unexposed at the highest level. You don't take the merit ratings literally here. If you take the merit ratings literally in these races, you'll go Boy Scouts. In other words, you'll go right out. Because effectively, what they're saying is, Give Me a Shot, who's campaigned at the highest level with Feather Boa against a horse like Lady of Power. Let's just choose Lady of Power. There's no way that the difference is that great, 112.91. Because Lady of Power is unexposed. Joey Usoma's kept it under the radar. It won a bloody good race with Stratum last time out from a deep draw. It's an up-and-coming horse. So don't take the merit ratings literally. Don't say, if you're a merit rating student, that one's rated 114, the other's rated 91 or whatever it is, and it's going to beat it by X number of lengths. It doesn't work like that in these feature races. So whilst we're leaning towards the lower numbers, Give Me a Shot, Feather Boa, Lars mentioned Emregina. It may even work out well different to that, but I think that Give Me a Shot is the horse to beat there. Now, let's go to the big one, the Colts Guineas, which runs at just after 3:30 this afternoon. A race for R1 million, the start of the Triple Crown. In race 7, there are no changes either. And here is the betting. They're betting 3-1 Shoemaker. Royal Victory and Anfield's Rocket are both at 11-2. They both come in a bit. And then you've got 8-1 about Money Heist and 6-1 about East Coast. It does again favor the horses that have a higher merit rating in terms of, their weights. But there could be something lurking down below that is unexposed. I see money for Eye of the Prophet come in from 33 to 1 into 16 to 1. So you're feeling on the Colts guineas today.
Well, opposite problem to race 6. There's not much pace here at all, Nico. I had a look at this race, and the only two horses that really have pace in the past is number 10, Electric Gold, and number 11, Good Counsel. So not much pace, and that's not going to play into the hands of our favorite runners who are drawn wide. Shoemaker's drawn 13, Royal Victory 9, Anfield's Rockets drawn 14, Money House drawn 15, and of course, Nico, with one or two of these weaker horses, they could have quite a few traffic problems coming into the straight. So with all that said and done, I really like number 3, Royal Victory as an animal. Drawn 9, which is okay. I think this is a massive runner. That run behind Union Square in the Dingons from a draw of 12 of 13 was fantastic. The way he won last time. Here's my first selection. And then 1, Shoemaker, even from that draw. We know how this horse can finish. 2, East Coast. Probably not as good as Shoemaker, but from the draws, might give them a go. And then number 6, Anfield's Rocket. Don't leave Anfield's Rocket out, even though he's drawn 14.
Unbelievable.
Sure, he can finish.
He's an unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Now, what it looked like when I called that race over 1,000 meters, just so that everyone knows, he was slow out the gate that day. He was slow away, and he did not get a good start. But it looked like when horses are that slow away and they're sluggish, they almost fall out the gates. They could a tweak, and I saw Grant Marine did say it in the interview afterwards. He said, we've got a few minor issues that we haven't sorted out yet, and those will be ready by the time we come. So I think it maybe needed a bit of physio on its back, but the way that it still won, having lost ground at the start, is amazing. I think they're expecting a big run from Anfield's Rocket today.
Yeah, I've heard the same. In fact, if he was drawn 6 or less, I'd make him my first choice.
Yeah, he's drawn wide out. But you know, the Graham Beck Stakes, which was run in October, I think it was at the end of October, those horses ran first, second, and third. Remember, Anfield's Rocket won it. Shoemaker couldn't find a way through. Royal Victory was also in that race, and Union Square was in that race. Remember, Union Square also got a run late. So I'm believing that the Graham Beck Stakes form will hold true, and you'll find something here. But out of the horses that are coming up through the ranks that might not be as exposed as those ones, from further down, do you like anything that sticks out?
Yes. The 2 roughies for me were Le Mornay, number 9, and Electric Gold, number 10.
Okay, the 14-1 horses.
Yeah, I think those 2 are pretty good. On the last run there, 3.5 lengths behind, Le Mornay was 3.5 lengths behind Money Heist, but obviously drawn 15 of 15. The third behind Cousin Casey's good, so unexposed. And Electric Gold, I mean, running second to Porto Manzano, getting 9 kilograms is not the worst run. So, but I must say, Sean Terry said this is on the sharp side for Electric Gold. So, yeah, we could have a surprise, Nico. I wouldn't be surprised. You and I well know these big days. They can throw one result that's just pick 6 gone.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to race 8 now, and that is the penultimate race of the day at 8 minutes past 4. It's a fillies and mares 96 divided handicap over the 1,400-meter trip. In race 8, scratch number 7, Queen of Shadows, has come out of this one. So Queen of Shadows is a scratching. Here's the betting. It's a fillies and mares handicap. I'm just having a look here. Emerald Princess at 7-2. You've got Princess Philippa, who won well last time out at 9-2, and a few of them at 11-2 with Bureau de Legendre at 5-1. Again, open contest. I made this open at the top level for the fillies. How did you see the 8th race working out?
It is open, but now that I've seen the rain falling, I'm more confident with number 10, Princess Philippa. The daughter of Silvano, Randall Simons, to Pettigrew, on form lines here, very strong. Even though held by Emerald Princess, if we go all the way back to the 9th of July, on the run, on the 22nd of November, Emerald Princess is held by number 10, Princess Philippa.
Yeah.
She's 3 kilograms better off with Wakanda, who I do think is a big runner. And with that draw of 5, course and distance form and wet form, Princess Philippa is my first selection. From the 8, Wakanda, from a nice draw. Not badly weighted here if you go through the form lines. And then, of course, number 1 and 4. That's Emerald Princess and the 4, Bureau de Legendre. But for me, Princess Philippa, first selection, Nico.
Okay, so you like Princess Philippa. I just wanted to bring up Wakanda's form line because I thought she won really well under Yeni last time. But I liked the way that she quickened up and that she won well. If you look at that form line, there's another horse I just wanted to bring into and ask you your comment on, and that is number 5, Eternity Ring. Here's a horse that we had a lot of respect for early on in her 3-year-old career. She changed stables. She joined the Fortune Yard. When you look at that last run, it showed some signs of coming back to form. Can you have it in any shape or form, Eternity Ring at 10-1?
Yeah, I suppose we have to. I mean, look at those runs behind Rain in Holland and Big Burn, etc.
Yeah.
Should have to have a chance, Nico. You know, like you, even though I'm saying number 10 is a big runner, I do agree with you. This is an open race.
Yeah.
This is one of the most open races on the card.
Yeah, so I think you must, again, that race get cautiously, race 8, not an easy race either. And then the next race, I think, is the step down from that. It's also over the 1400, but it's for the weaker class. The fillies and mares 79 get their chance to strut their stuff here. You can scratch number 9. That's a late scratching run for Lyall, who was 33-1, is out of the 9th race. Number 1, High Roller's got earmuffs on, and Pacifier's got on number 6, Quantum. So let's have a look here. The money's for Gimme a Light, who won on debut. She opened up at 3.5-1 or somewhere thereabouts. She's now 5-2. In the beginning is at 7-2. Those two dominate the market, with Mother of Pearl at 9-2. Your thoughts on the last?
My thoughts on the last. I thought number 5 in the beginning. I was very, very impressed with that last run behind Little Miss Moneybags. Her debut run did produce 5 winners. The problem here is her draw of 11. But she does have Samanga Kumalo aboard, and I make her a big runner here. I think that last run was really promising. Number 4, Give Me a Light, obviously good form. Third behind Arari Gold, run behind Winter Greeting, etc., and also beat Mighty Goddess. So interesting that both 4 and 5 beat Mighty Goddess on their debut runs. So I didn't think much between them. Yes, Give Me a Light's got 1.5 kilograms off. But like I said, I really like that the 5's run last time. Then I can't see on your screen. What's number 10? Quasi's Lady, Nico.
8-1. 8-1.
This has got to be magnificent value. I mean, I've got so much writing on this page on her that I can't even read it anymore. But I think what I'm suggesting here is that at the weight, do not leave Quasi's Lady out of anything.
Now, I agree with you. That's the value for me. 49.5 kilos. I found the same horse, and mainly because I spent a bit of time with Alec Laird at the Vaal on Thursday, and I know that he fancied that Rocket's Red Glare. He said to me that he was quietly optimistic that she'd run a good race, and she was at 8-10-1, and she blasted them and won well. But then I said to him, what have you got running on? I was asking him about Billy Bowlegs, actually, because I've taken quite a fancy to Billy Bowlegs. As you'll know, I've liked it the last 2 wins at nice odds too. So I was asking him where he was going. He said he's going to the Classic. He's not going to the Guineas with Billy Bowlegs. He's going to the Classic. I said, what else have you got running on the day? And he was, he's got a few, but he actually leant towards this race. And he was talking about this race. And he made a mention that both Save the Queen and Quasi's Lady were running in the same race. And when I looked at it, I thought Quasi's Lady at 8-1 was a bit tempting in terms of the price there. I do believe, though, that Give Me a Light with the weight and I thought that the 1600 is a bit far for it. And I think coming back to a 14 will suit Give Me a Light. So I think Give Me a Light is the horse to beat. But I did think Quasi's Lady was a bit of value there in the last of
Good value.
Okay.
Good.
That's where we're going to leave it at just before 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Lyall Cooper will both be doing duty out at Turffontein today, and looking forward to day 1 of the championships meetings in the autumn season. It's a good day weather-wise. Maybe that weather might roll in later. Let's cross fingers and hope that it doesn't rain too much if it does come down later on this afternoon. Lyall, all the best for the day. Looking forward to your presentation. And looking forward to our buy pot for Take a Bet followers, which will be coming up a bit later on this morning too.
Thanks, Nico.